If you pick up a pen after months of typing, your handwriting feels a little awkward. The same thing happens when you get back on a bicycle after years away. You wobble for a minute. You haven't actually forgotten how to write or ride a bike. Your brain is simply recalibrating to the physical action. The exact same recalibration happens with our daily routines, and the cutoff is usually 3 days. If you stop executing a habit for 3 consecutive days, jumping back in stops feeling automatic. Suddenly, the routine feels heavy. This diagram maps out that behavior. We have a flat line representing your standard daily routine and a slightly higher line for your target goal. But right here below the standard is the 3-day slump, a deep pit where your momentum has completely zeroed out. If you try to climb straight out of this pit and back to your normal standard, you hit massive friction. Your brain wants to perform at the old level, but your execution muscles are cold. You try, you tumble, and you end up falling backward into the pit, creating a cycle of starting and stopping. That stumbling isn't a loss of skill. It is an illusion caused by the mechanical friction of re-entry. To overcome it, we need to abandon the idea of a normal routine and use a specialized protocol. To break the slump, you cannot aim for normal. You have to execute a system shock. By aiming ridiculously high for a single day, you force your brain out of its rut and make your standard baseline look easy by comparison. Looking back at our chart, this is the system shock trajectory. Instead of creeping back up to the baseline, we shoot for a massive vertical spike far above your normal goal. We call this the crazy day. Step 1 of this protocol is setting a volume target that completely dwarfs your daily goal. If your standard is making 2 cold calls, your crazy day target is 20. The number should be so disproportionate that it shocks your system into action. Step 2 is adding a deliberately absurd element to your environment. Blast rave music in your car before a meeting, or wear a ridiculous hat while working at your desk. When you do something inherently weird, the pressure to be perfect evaporates. Step 3 is accepting that your execution will be flawed. You will stumble over your words. It doesn't matter. The only metric of success for a crazy day is raw completion. You just have to get the reps out of your mouth. Combining an extreme volume of work with a low-stakes, ridiculous environment short-circuits the anxiety of the 3-day slump. It forces your system back into physical motion. Even with a protocol in place, you might encounter a secondary obstacle, the freeze. This is the paralysis that happens when you sit down to execute and overthink your options until every single task feels equally overwhelming. This stopwatch represents the 5-minute rule, a mechanic designed to collapse the time between thinking about a task and actually doing it. When your brain tells you all tasks carry the exact same weight, you break the illusion by committing to just 5 minutes of motion. You pick any arbitrary action and execute it until the timer runs out. You aren't aiming to finish a project, you're only aiming to break the freeze. Before you start that timer, you implement a mandatory accountability trigger. You text someone and tell them what you are doing for the next 5 minutes. The sheer act of sending it externalizes the pressure and forces you to begin. Pause this video right now. Write down your specific crazy day volume, the absurd twist you're going to use to lower the stakes, and the name of the person you will text for accountability. Surviving your crazy day provides a psychological payoff. When you wake up the next morning to face your normal routine, you carry the confidence of knowing you completed a workload 10 times harder without falling apart. Notice the curve leading away from our massive crazy day peak, settling smoothly back onto your original standard baseline. Your figure moves forward without friction. This glow represents recalibration. The original baseline no longer carries the same mental weight, making your routine feel manageable again. Let's summarize this system so you can deploy it the next time you fall off track. The protocol relies on 3 specific interventions. First, you identify the 3-day slump. Second, you plan the system shock to generate extreme volume. Finally, you use the 5-minute rule and accountability text to shatter the initial freeze. Long-term consistency isn't defined by never missing a day. It is defined by possessing a ruthless, mechanical protocol for getting back on the bicycle the second you realize you've fallen off.